Hello everyone, and welcome to my site for IBS, Crohn's, and colitis. My name is Dr. Joel Rosen, and I am the clinic director here in Boca Raton called Boca Healthcare Center. You are watching this because either you, a loved one, or someone you know suffers with IBS, Crohn's, and colitis, and you're looking for answers. And I'm here to tell you that this is probably something you've never heard before, and something for the better. This could be life-changing care for you. But basically, in my office, what makes us different than any other doctor is we treat you both neurologically and metabolically. In our office, we basically leave no stone unturned when it comes to determining what type of problem you have with IBS. And what I mean by that is it a metabolic problem? Is it a neurologic problem? Is it a gut infection? Is it a problem with your thyroid and your liver? Is it a problem with your adrenals? Is it your problem with your potentially your pancreas and your sugar regulation? Basically, how do I successfully help people with IBS and Crohn's? We use testing that you've never probably done before. First of all, from a metabolic standpoint, the specific tests that we run are thyroid panels, a complete metabolic profile, which includes auto differentials, looking at your white blood cells. Many of you have probably already done this, but there's other testing like thyroid antibodies, as well as converting problem from T4 to T3, overconversion, underconversion. Is there a problem with how we're delivering the thyroid hormones or the T3 to the different cells in the body? It's not just the TSH problem, so you have to go further in depth with that. That's what we do. We also are able to assess your liver function, your kidney function, your red blood cells, your gut function with all of the above tests. Any of these internal problems can cause your Crohn's problem, and if you're not putting the entire picture together based on the testing, then you're not going to be able to help you as much as you should based on what the problems are. We also address your gut function so that we can help you heal faster. Sensitivity testing, that's awesome stuff. We're using a lab called Cyrix Labs. Basically, we are testing you against wheat or gluten, oats, barley, rye, spelt. That's the array number 3. However, there's something called cross-reactivity. You may not have a problem with gluten type of foods, but you may have a problem with milk, casein, eggs, yeast, soy, stuff like that. If you are even corn, potatoes, you may be having a cross-reactivity problem. Basically what I mean by that is when you eat one of these foods, your body creates inflammation by having an immune response to these foods. You're sensitive to these foods, sort of like an allergy. And then what happens is in your bloodstream, you'll start getting these foods passed into the bloodstream because of a problem called leaky gut. Leaky gut is basically having small leaks in your intestinal lining, and what happens is when you eat these food-sensitive foods, then you're going to have these pass through into the bloodstream, and then when they pass through in the bloodstream, you're going to have an immune attack against those foods, and the same antibodies that attack those foods can start attacking our own tissues, like our thyroid, or our pancreas, or our brain, or our skin, our joints. These are called autoimmune problems, so you have to do sensitivity testing. Some of the symptoms of sensitivities are chronic pain, frequent indigestion, bloating after eating, frequent loose bowel movements, constipation, mouth ulcers or sores, vomiting often. I really haven't seen people with vomiting often from sensitivity problems, but that's one of the other things that you can have. The only way you're going to know this is through testing, and these testing are awesome. It's the best lab in probably the country, let alone the world. Adrenal stress index. We're chronically stressed out in our society. In North America, we have finances, we have jobs, we have spouses, we have family, we have parents, we have children. All these things take a tremendous toll on our stress organs, which are our adrenals. And our adrenals are basically supposed to be high in the morning and then low in the evening. You're basically supposed to wake up refreshed and then go to bed, hit the pillow and fall asleep. But many of us have that flip-flopped. We wake up tired, and by the time it's time to go to bed, we can't fall asleep. There's a problem with your adrenals. You need to do adrenal testing. It's called an adrenal stress index. Basically, we take salivary samples 6 times throughout the day, and it gives us an idea how your adrenals are functioning. Are they fatigued? Do you have an overabundance production of cortisol? Are you breaking down all the time? These are some of the things you need to test. We also do immune panels. Immune panels can cause your condition to be an autoimmune condition. Basically, we do a T and B lymphocyte. Basically, in a nutshell, we have 2 ways that we fight an infection. We're either Th1 or Th2 dominant. We can test to see which domination you're in. Are you Th1 dominant or are you Th2 dominant? We do different testing for that. As well, you want to determine if there's an active antigen. You could have an active antigen in terms of a parasite, bacteria, virus, mold, fungi, protozoa, H. pylori. We do stool samples in our office to be able to determine. We don't do them in the office, we order them in the office. Yeah, we order stool samples to see if you have an active antigen. The immune panels and all these stuff, once they're done, they'll be able to let me know if you have an autoimmune problem. If you do, that's going to trump anything you've ever done in way of medication or holistically, and it's the most important thing to basically uncover when you come into our office to determine if you're autoimmune. All the tests that we just mentioned are tests that we run, but other autoimmune problems are rheumatoid arthritis, Sjögren's syndrome, which is basically moisture in your producing glands, lupus, skin, joint, kidneys, and other systems can be affected, scleroderma, connective tissue, you've heard of psoriatic arthritis, Hashimoto's, Graves' disease, multiple sclerosis, celiac disease, Addison's, pernicious anemia, myasthenia gravis, dermatomyositis, didn't pronounce that very well, Raynaud's, and type 1 diabetes. These are all autoimmune conditions that if you have food sensitivities, you're basically creating inflammation in your body, and every time you eat one of these foods that you're sensitive to, you're destroying your main organ that is being attacked. You could have an H. pylori problem. That could be in the gut, and that's causing an active antigen to create inflammation in your body. Intestinal permeability, we talked about that. That's small leaks in your gut allowing food to pass through. Do you have this? Have you ever tested for this? Basically, leaky gut syndrome is described as a condition of altered or damaged bowel lining caused by antibiotics, toxins, poor diet, parasite infections, can lead to increased permeability into the gut. It's almost like having a house and having leaks coming in through the window, through the roofs, through the tiles. It's being infestated from a point of view where everything's getting into your GI tract and thus into your bloodstream. This will affect the body directly, while it creates an immune response. We can do neurotransmitter testing. We do hormone panels, which basically check your hormone levels to see if this is a reason for your depression or your fatigue, your mental fogginess. So basically, people were trying to put the entire picture together and be able to determine what's the reason for the IBS. It's probably a systemic problem. You have a problem with your gut, you have a problem with sensitivities to foods, your adrenals are fatigued, your thyroid's not functioning properly, neurologically, your central nervous system, your brain is not getting the fuel in terms of oxygen and glucose that is required. One of the main things that results from all this problem is inflammation. Inflammation in our body. We check your homocysteine levels, your C-reactive protein levels. Those are a part of your blood testing. That's why I said if you've already had blood testing done before, you may not have had these levels tested before. We do vitamin D testing to determine what your levels of vitamin D are. That's a big immune regulator and nervous system aider, and if you're not sufficient in vitamin D, then you can have a huge problem that is contributing to your IBS. Glutathione is the major heavy lifting antioxidant in the body. It's one of the things that we do in our office to help you combat your condition. So that's one of the things we do in our office. We do brain-based therapy. We have, once we do all the testing metabolically, then neurologically we do testing in terms of brain-based therapy. Vibration, visual stimulation, auditory stimulation, olfactory stimulation. We don't leave any stone unturned. So when you come in and you have a metabolic problem, you're not digesting food ideally, or you're not absorbing food ideally, and you're not transporting blood sugar ideally. Why? We need to test. But even if you are, then we know that your brain's not functioning problem. It's fatiguing. What areas of your brain are fatiguing? The front part of your brain, the side part of your brain, the middle part of the brain, the back part of the brain. Neurological testing in our office will determine what to do and what's functioning improperly and help you recover from your IBS. So we do non-surgical decompression. If there's a problem with the brain, a lot of the times the cerebellum, if it's fatiguing, you have postural problems. So I guarantee it's not just an IBS problem or Crohn's problem. It could be an IBS Crohn's problem with headaches, with neck pain, with fatigue, with lower back pain. This is all because the metabolic and the neurologic are breaking down, and we need to test those. And you've probably never heard of this before. Interactive metronome is a great computer-based program that stimulates your brain to fire and coordinate properly. So that's another neurological solution we have. So ask yourself the following questions. How long have you had this chronic condition, and how has it affected your job, your relationship, your finances, your family, the activities, your joy for life? What does this cost you in terms of time, money, happiness, sleep? Where do you picture yourself in the next 1 to 3 years? The definition of insanity is trying to do the same things over and over and over again and expecting different results. And if you're going to continue to do the same thing that you've been doing for hopefully not very long, but some IBS sufferers have suffered for 5, 10 years, and what would you tell someone that's going to go down the same path as you, who just has it, that are going to do the same thing? Expect the same results, so we need to change that up. Basically, with this video, I'm offering you two free visits to my office. The first visit is going to be a neurological assessment. You're going to fill out my metabolic assessment forms, my neurotransmitter assessment forms, and we're going to do a complete neurological eval. Bring in all your blood work, and I'll review that as well, because you may not be in the functional ranges, even though you're not in the clinically lab ranges, meaning you're either high or low, but not high or low enough to tell you that you're sick, but you may be starting to get sick, and we want you to bring in your tests as well. On day 2, we will go over everything as to what we found on day 1 neurologically, where your deficits are in your brain, potentially from improper fuel and activation. We'll go over the metabolic tests, what tests need to be ordered. We'll go over your neurotransmitter testing. We'll go over the care plan, what's going to be required if we accept your case, and we'll go over how much it may cost. So basically, I'm looking for people that are looking to help themselves. I'm not looking for someone that just wants to take a pill, go to bed, wake up, and everything's rosy. You're running through the field, purple pill. I'm not looking for people like that. I'm looking for people that realize that they need to make a lifestyle change and are sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you want to come in and be evaluated for your IBS and recover from your IBS. My name is Dr. Joel Rosen. I can be reached at 561-883-0090 and speak to either David or Brenda and tell them you want to come in for your 2 free visits. As well, I have a little opt-in at the page here that you're on. If you just scroll down, you'll see if you want more information, you're not yet convinced that you want to come in to see me, then just leave your name and address, and I will send you some information as to what else we do in our office, and I look forward to helping you. Thank you very much.